We're going to turn to the weather right now. March is here, in case you didn't know. I mean, all the months have been the same, kind of. It's like, what month is this? That means the start of meteorological spring. But the month definitely isn't coming in like a lion. We talk about all the time, lion or lamb. And
right.
Kathy, what do we say? It is one of our it's our snowiest month.
Yeah, but we do have some positive things to look forward to this week, believe it or not. Yeah. Last week we talked about the chance for rain on Tuesday and the chance for rain and snow on Friday, and that forecast still holds. So yes, some positive changes coming in this first full week of our snowiest month on average. Oh, and the moon is full tomorrow too, so it's going to be a great week. Anyway, today felt like springtime. The vernal equinox doesn't occur until March 20th. Today we were sunny and 70 degrees in Denver. Fort Collins, just enough cloud cover. We should have a really pretty sunset tonight. Been watching the skiers and snowboarders on Loveland and Loveland Pass up there today. Really nice day. There's some mountain snow that will develop by tomorrow morning. Temperatures in the 60s and 70s, 20 degrees above average today. The wind out of the west and southwest will shift out of the north as the storm system approaches from the west. That storm brings mountain snow, seeing a little bit of moisture moving into northern Colorado in the northwest corner of the state as we speak. And tomorrow morning, some of you, well, you might have rain for your morning breakfast and coffee ritual. We have dry air tonight, but look at this. We got some scattered showers moving into Fort Collins by 5:30 in the morning, and then rain moving through Denver before lunchtime tomorrow, and then a secondary wave of showers coming in the afternoon and evening, and that is light snow west of Denver and south of Castle Rock. So we love this forecast so much, and we also love that this isn't the only storm we're tracking this week. A beautiful evening ahead, calm and quiet. Coming up, much more on the Denver rain and snow and that mountain snow forecast.
Kathy, thank you. President Trump says strikes against Iran, which began Saturday morning, will ensure that Iran can never obtain a nuclear weapon. The president addressed the strikes, dubbed Operation Epic Fury, while at a Medal of Honor ceremony at the White House. Trump insisted action was taken against Iran because that country's leadership posed a serious threat to the U.S.
An Iranian regime armed with long-range missiles and nuclear weapons would be an intolerable threat to the Middle East, but also to the American people. Our country itself would be under threat, and it was very nearly under threat.
U.S. Central Command says 6 U.S. service members were killed already as part of the operation. Trump has not ruled out sending troops into Iran. We're going to have much more on this growing conflict coming up for you at 4:30 when we talk to a professor at DU about the history behind this kind of fighting. Public health officials have now confirmed a measles case in Adams County, the second case at Broomfield High School. CDPHE says neither of the students who have measles were vaccinated. It added a couple of locations where people may have been exposed, including the ones that you see on your screen here, but a full list is on their website. They say students and staff who need to take extra precautions will, of course, be contacted directly. Other exposures are under investigation.
A man from Westminster has been sentenced to 42 years for killing a woman from Denver. 23-year-old Kelsey Roberts Garrity was shot and killed at her apartment on South Dexter Street in June of 2024. A jury convicted 53-year-old Ernest Cunningham of second-degree murder for that shooting. The arrest affidavit says he had previously threatened Roberts' husband after he had fired him. Cunningham was on parole for a 20-year burglary sentence at the time. The victim's family says that's what still haunts them.
He was released and he made a permanent decision. So yeah, I feel like maybe he would have never been able to do that, and she might still be here.
9 News Investigates reported on Cunningham in its at-risk series. It showed mistakes in parole assessments that allowed some offenders to be released. Following that report, the Colorado Department of Corrections did acknowledge some of the major problems with how it screens some of the state's most dangerous offenders.
Starting today, the town of Hudson is adding another emergency vehicle to help respond to calls there. For decades, Hudson relied on ambulance services from Intermountain Health, but last year, voters on the Eastern Plains supported a levy to allow Hudson Fire to staff its own ambulances. The first one went into service last November. The second one is on the streets today. Hudson Fire says there have been 340 calls for service, 158 patient transports, and 58 overlapping incidents since November.
If they have to transport for a critical trauma patient or a pediatric patient all the way to the university. That could be an additional 45 minutes to an hour that unit's out of service. So having that second ambulance in district will definitely help cover our citizens during those times.
The second ambulance will be stationed in Lochbuie. The fire department is also looking for 2 more paramedics to bring on to their 10-person team.
Here's something people might not know. Part of your car registration tax funds your local school district. And now there's a proposal being discussed at the state capitol that would change how those dollars are counted. Changing the math formula could save the state $200 million while costing schools $200 million. Our Marcia Zellinger explains.
1 + 1 = 2. Simple math. School funding, not so simple. But here are the basics. Every student in the district is worth a set dollar amount. Add them up, and that's the total the district is owed. Districts get money from 2 places to hit that total. Local share from property taxes and part of your vehicle registration tax. And state share, which covers whatever's left. Some districts get extra vehicle registration tax dollars on top of that if voters have approved special school district tax measures. Think of it as bonus money added after the total is already met. Now the governor wants to change the law and count that bonus money toward the total instead of on top of it. That means the state pays less and could still claim schools are fully funded. If that change happens this summer, the state saves $220 million.
I think most people are expecting more from their schools than what we're being funded at right now.
Denver Public Schools would lose the most money if that change were to happen.
It would be the same as us just getting cut $26 to $29 million from what we were expecting to get.
It'd be about $16 million to Douglas County. And what that means to us is more than 150 employees.
Janice Leisner is CFO of Douglas County Schools, which gets about $16 million from vehicle registration tax dollars that are not currently counted toward the district's total budget number, unless the state changes the formula to make it count.
It will affect schools and teachers in some way.
Say a district is owed $500 million total. $140 million comes from local property tax and $10 million from vehicle registration taxes. The state covers the rest, $350 million. Now say voters in that district approve special tax measures, meaning an extra $5 million in vehicle registration tax dollars on top of the $500 million total. If this change were to happen, that $5 million gets counted toward the $500 million total. The state gets to save $5 million that it no longer has to backfill. The district loses $5 million it used to get.
It's just a bait and switch.
Republican State Senator Barb Kirkmeyer, who's also running for governor, has pledged to not cut K-12 spending and believes state Democrats have a spending problem that does not need the $200 million that could be saved.
What are they going to use that $200 million on? Go balance the budget because they just can't stop their overspending?
It is the last thing in the world that I want to do.
Democratic State Senator Jeff Bridges blames the budget pinch on tax policy changes made by Congress in D.C. and Tabor, the same policy that has limited state budget growth for 3 decades.
If school funding has to be cut at a state level, and this is the way that the legislature chooses to cut it, we will account for it, we will track it, we will make sure that this is not treated as if we're just making some financial correction.
If we're truly needing to cut education, then let's talk about that honestly and not just hide it within the formula and not be truthful with our communities.
Marshall Zellinger, 9 News.
So far, this is not changing school funding for this current year or next year. The governor's office told us in a statement if that funding change were to happen, the governor would want to see it start in fall of 2027 with partial cuts. The full cuts would take effect the next year.